When you wish upon a star, doesn't matter who you are. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. All right, here we are on the Challenge All Stars Episode 8 recap. Previously on the Challenge All Stars, Adam takes out the hero of Challenge All Stars, Brad, from the game in this memory challenge. Do y'all like these little recaps they do with having the people narrate from what happened in the previous episodes? Because I do. The Noble Knight retrieves his star. Now here we are on the ocean. Everything is good. They're playing some nice music. We see the waves. We get a different view of the challenge than what we normally get. What we got here? We got Nicole and Laurel hugging it up, enjoying this daytime cruise with the shades on. We got Steve in the background in one of those shirts that he told Derek was ugly. I think that was season 1 of the Challenge All Stars. What's a good love fest theme without a good fist pound? We got Cara Maria and Steve randomly giving each other a fist pound. So we know that everything in this episode is going to be fun and lighthearted, right? We got Ryan and Veronica having a very serious game conversation because clearly what they want us to focus on this scene is Ryan and Veronica's serious conversation, right? And we jump right from this boat scene to this very serious conversation between Cara Maria and Laurel. And for those who don't know the history or don't remember the history between these two, they were friends, they were roommates at one point, they lived together off the show. Aside from show stuff, they actually lived together. On one season, Laurel revealed that she had a crush on Cara. So it seems like they're friends, and it shows us in the confessional that Laurel says that she values Kara's opinion. So she says, "You don't know how confusing it is and how difficult it is for me to be in the house with an ex." Something about this conversation is it actually reminds me of a personal conversation I had with a then very close friend regarding a person that was Nicole-ish. And I don't know Nicole personally, but I've listened to many of the cast talk about Nicole and talk about Nicole's player ways and the way how she just has Laurel under this spell. So I have been in the position of Kara and I can empathize with her in a sense where somebody is coming to you and saying, "This is so hard for me with this person because we have this back and forth push and pull." And you, as the friend, know that that's a toxic relationship going on. So Kara decides to just tell her straight, you need to cut it out. Like, the things that have been going on between you and Nicole are not going to change. You're going to come cry to me, and then 5 minutes later, Nicole is going to have you pushed up against the wall and you're going to be making out. And it shows Laurel in the confessional being like, I didn't really ask her for advice. I just wanted to talk to her. Here's my thing with that. When you continually come to a friend to talk to that friend about what that person is doing to you, do you expect that friend to continue to just listen to you, to just hold you, hug you, dry your tears, and then you just go right back into that same situation that's making you feel that way? No. I mean, like I said, I've been in the position to actually tell somebody this is what's happening, and I'm just going to tell you straight, it's not going to change, and then have that person turn on me. So I kind of saw what was coming in this episode. So Kara's hugging her, consoling her. She's like, "Come here." She gives her a hug. But then it shows her in the confessional, like, "Who are you? And what have you done with Laurel?" Because we all know Laurel from back in the day, especially before she was on any season with Nicole. Laura was a beast. Laura was somebody who intimidated the other competitors. Laura was not this person that was in tears and that was just crying. And then also, we remember that Laurel, Cara, and Nicole all have kind of an intertwined history together and it's long standing. So Cara is just over this relationship, as many of the other cast have said that they are on the show and in the podcast after the show. So it's not just Kara, but Kara is the one that she decided to confide in because of their previous relationship that they had. Not relationship like romantic relationship, but their close friendship. So then we have this cute scene with Cam and Lee FaceTiming their son Kingston, and Leroy's asking to see his teeth, and Cam is talking in the confessional about the guilt that she feels about being away from him, but she's trying to do this thing for her, and she's trying to make the money for the wedding and to put a down payment on the house. The fans have started to call out that anytime we see a call from home, it usually means that that person is going into an elimination. So we'll see if this was foreshadowing or what happens from here. But for me, it's always nice to see the call from home regardless because it just lets us know that these people are human. They have lives outside of the show and they have reasons for doing it and people that they love. Back to the toxicity. So Nicole overhears this conversation between Cara Maria and Laurel and maybe sees them hugging, and she's not for it. She's telling Cara, "You're obsessed with me. You've been obsessed with me." And Cara is pretty much calling her out for being a player. She's just calling the situation what it is and what she sees and what it has been. Honestly, in my opinion, Cara is not wrong here because from all the things that I've heard about all the things that Nicole has done on the show, off the show, and then you have a friend or a former friend that now you're back in this environment together again, they're confiding in you, and then they're telling you Nicole's doing this, I think Nicole's playing me, I think that Nicole is using me, and then after all the crying you see them right back in bed cuddling, smooching, all that stuff. I understand why she's like, it is what it is. Crazy thing is, after this argument, the person that Laurel is comforting is not the one who was hugging her, listening to her, telling her she can do better, telling her she needs to cut this thing off. She's going back to the person who is playing her and who has this mind control over her and who is only clearly getting with her out of the convenience of the fact that they're in the house and they've had this previous relationship and it's comfort. She said that earlier in the season herself. She told Laurel, "Oh, there's a boundary. We're not going to get in bed together anymore. Like, this can't be anything more than what it is." She was telling other people in the house, "I think Laurel's catching feelings, but I don't feel that way. It's a comfort thing." She's playing her. But Laurel does not see that. And Laurel is going to her to tell her that she's sorry for Kara's behavior towards her. Now we get into the daily challenge. Balls up. I feel like they always make names like this just so they can say balls. Maybe it's just me, but it seems that way. But basically, they have the balls on that mesh that you can see, and each color represents a person within that heat. And they get these sticks, they knock the balls out. The person who's out first is out first, and it goes like that. until we have a winner, which is the last balls standing. Everyone knows the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So now, because Laurel is mad that Kara stood up for her and called Nicole a player and said that Nicole is playing her and using her, because she's mad about that, and because she's under the spell that Nicole has put her under. Now she's Cam's friend, because we remember that Cam has wanted Kara out for a while. She says because Kara didn't vote the way that she wanted her to vote, and she thinks that Kara was just trying to sabotage her, yada yada. So they talk and they say, okay, Kara's got to go. How do we do that? Cam says, I want to get into an elimination so that I can get my star, and I do not want to be blocked. So Cam devises this master plan. So Cam is really smart, like I've been saying this whole time. But the other part is Cam's voice is really powerful because for some reason when she speaks, everybody just does what she wants them to do. Because this plan required a lot of cooperation from a lot of people. So her plan was like, okay, within my heat, you get me out first. That guarantees that I'm in the losing group. And then we solidify our middle group, which is the voting group. And then we make sure that Kara is not in the winning group, so her star is not safe. So we see what was happening at the beginning. Everybody got Cam out first, and everything was going in order. And obviously, Cara Maria realized that everybody colluded to make sure that Cam was in the losing group so that Cam could go into elimination. And by the look on her face, she obviously was not feeling it. Cara avoids getting in the losing group and ends up in the middle group, which means that she cannot go into an elimination. But then she ends up getting into this confrontation with Nicole because they got really physical within their heat. And Nicole was basically just like, if we were not on this show, I would beat you up. And Cara was just like, do it. Do it, man. And I gotta be honest, as somebody who has been a Cara fan from day one and watched when people used to do this kind of thing to her on her early seasons and she would go in the corner and cry, shout out to her for actually standing up for herself and not letting Nicole or anybody intimidate her and just staying strong. Ace is not feeling it. Steve is not feeling it. So they assisted her with ending up in the middle group because really, in my mind, it's so interesting because Cara was bullied when All Stars, I mean, when she first got on the challenge for being different. And that was back before she got really strong and before she discovered self-worth and everything like that. Now she's being bullied for being strong. Like people hate her for it. So I don't really understand. So by default, Avery and Ace are the winning female and male. And as you can see, they look extremely excited about this. The middle group ends up being Leroy, Laurel, Nicole, Adam, and Kara. And when I saw this group, I already knew Kara has no power because the four of them decided that this was going to be the group beforehand to ensure that they get the matchup that they want. Cam is letting everybody know that she wants to take Kara's star and that it is personal for her. Insert random chess game with Laurel and Kara. After they show all these different conversations with Laurel happen with Cam, where Laurel is like, okay, you take out Tina. Then after you take out Tina, We get out Kara. Kara is our next mission. We move into this next scene where, in a plea of desperation, Kara is saying to Nicole, "You want me in the house and you want me to have a star because I am a big shield for you." And Laurel is just like, "You are not going to manipulate Nicole. We're voting the way that we want to vote, and that's that." So Laurel tells Nicole, "You're not changing your vote, right?" And Nicole's like, "No." And then Laurel's like, "Exactly. She's not changing her vote. These are the way that the votes are going. It's going to be Cam and Tina, and there's nothing that you can do about that." So now Kara is telling is telling Laurel, "Nicole is making you look a fool, and you're going to see this when you get off the show." Honestly, again, I've been in this type of situation with this misdirected anger. That's the way that I view it. I've been in this type of thing where you tell your friend about how everything looks from the outside looking in because you're not under the spell and you're just looking out for them. And Kara's like, "When's the last time we talked? You misinterpret everything. You view the world wrong." And the fandom, I hope they give Laurel the same kind of energy that they gave Cam before and that they were giving Ayana at the beginning, because this is wild to me. Laurel looks insane in this type of scenario. Leroy's like me, he's over it. He's not trying to hear the drama. He's like, "All right, so are we voting for Cam versus Tina? All right, so let's move on." Leroy is happy that the whole plan went how it was supposed to go, but he's also worried because obviously the mother of his child and his fiance is now on the line. So it's Cam versus Tina. Unless Avery has something to say about it, they try to make some dramatic thing as if Avery might go down to take Cam off and go against Tina, which I actually think that she should have. This trampoline competition was probably one of the best things. And against somebody like Tina, this was probably the best thing that she could have gone against her in order to gain her star to run the final. But in typical anticlimactic fashion, she doesn't go down. And it's Tina versus Cam. I think that it was heavily weighted in Cam's favor. Kara knew that, hence the look on her face. As expected, Cam pulls through. It was this trampoline challenge where they bounce on the trampoline and then they have to memorize something and then replicate it. Cam has a height advantage. Cam is more athletic, even right after having her baby. She's taller. She had all the advantages here. So Cam takes the W, as I think most of them expected. Um, Tina's a big loss to the show and in the house, despite people saying she's not good at politics and she's not necessarily great at the game. But just because she's so lighthearted and fun, when I met her, that's the same way that she was. The same way you see her on the show is the same way that you see her in real life. So it's a loss in that regard. But Cam finally got her star. And as you can see, she was very excited not only to get the star, but she's been waiting since very early on in the season, specifically, to take that star from Cara Maria. So here, obviously, they pan over to Cara Maria's picture with the star behind it because we all know whose star Cam is planning to take. So Cam makes a little speech like, "Y'all obviously know whose star I'm gonna take." An excited Cam takes Cara Maria's star away from her. I don't know. It feels like almost everybody, with the exception of a few people, have just found a reason to hate Cara. I hate Cara for this. I hate Cara for that. Cara is playing a selfish game. Cara is playing an individual game. Cara had people that she was playing with, and they all turned on her because she wants to win. Here's the other thing. Yes, I am a Cara Maria fan. I always have been, and I always will be. However, if I'm in this game, at some point, I would start doing some math and be like, Leroy and Cam are a couple. They live in the same house. Their plan is that if either of them wins, obviously the money goes to the house, to the pot. So by doing their bidding, you potentially risk having two people in the final who can possibly win, and you're out there fighting for yourself. So I do not necessarily think that doing everything that Cam says is the smartest move. Now, the other part about it is Laurel is a beast. She's a strong competitor. She can beat anybody on any given day. But the thing I don't like about Laurel and have never liked about Laurel is the fact that she plays the game with her heart and not her head. So if she's aligned with the right people, if things go the right way, and she gets the right type of challenges to take people out, she can make a final. But she can get distracted by people with the wrong intentions, Nicole, and all of a sudden her whole game strategy shifts, and then she turns on somebody who's her friend. I don't care if they haven't spoken in some time. The way that I feel about these challenge friendships is that you get off the challenge and then you go home. They live wherever they live and they do what they do. You live wherever you live and you do what you do. And then you come together, and just by virtue of history and where you've been and the things that you've been through, especially in their type of case, at least that's your friend for now. And that's not somebody worth turning your back on. But that's just my personal thoughts. So now Kara loses her star, and currently she's not in a position to run the final. It's hard to watch when everybody gangs up on one person, and like I said earlier, it's so strange to me how you can be bullied in different types of ways because, like I said in the beginning, she was bullied just for being different because she wasn't like everybody else. And funny enough, Laurel stood up for her back then. And now it's like, oh, she's strong. Oh, she does CrossFit. Oh, she doesn't keep in touch with the rest of the cast. Oh, she's strong. We can't beat her in the final. Like they just come up with all kinds of things. Actually, they come up with some personal things too, because Cam was like, uh, Cara has been spreading all these lies about me and Lee. And I'm not saying that she wasn't spreading lies, but I'll just say we didn't see any of those lies, and I haven't heard anything about those lies. So it's almost like people convince themselves that there's another reason to get out Kara aside from just flat out being like, I don't think I can beat you. And I think she would have respected that, and I would have respected that. So that's where I stand with this episode. I think it was a good episode. It was dramatic, obviously. I'm still rooting for Kara. Listen, I love Killer Cam. She's not my favorite this particular season. And this is the first time I've ever said that. every single season that she's been on. Even that season, I think that she was on a season where Kara was a mercenary. She was taking out all the mercenaries. I was rooting for her hard. I think that was Cam's first season. And I've been a big fan of Cam for a long time, but I just think that what's going on in this particular season is too much. Amazingly, somebody as strong and as good at this game as Kara is still the underdog because so many people want to get rid of her. She does not have a team. She's on Kara Island. Her closest people have betrayed her. But we'll see what happens going forward. That's my recap. Let me know in the comments whether you liked my new format. If so, I'll continue with it. I've been trying to do different things. Mindful reality here. Reality TV from a mental health perspective. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more amazing content. Have a wonderful day.